welcome back to my nail channel. If you're not already, don't forget to hit subscribe because I do post weekly nail videos. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for coming back to my content. In this video, I'm going to be unboxing and testing out one of the biggest dip powder starter kits. You can get this on Amazon or the Beetles website. I will link both of those down below in the description box. Let's go ahead and take off the plastic. Once you open up the box, this is what you're going to see. Basically, it's a box inside of a box. Let's go ahead and take this one out. So here's what the outside of the box looks like. This one is the Fall Harvest dip powder set. So these are actually 20 different colors of dip powders. Here's the back of the box if you would like to pause and read. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. Once I opened it up, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the application guide. Feel free to pause and read if you would like to see their recommendation for dip powder application. I'm then going to go ahead and take out the two plastic containers that have the dip powders and the dip liquids. I do think that they packaged this pretty well considering there's 20 different dip powder colors and the 4 dip liquids. That's everything in the box. They do also give you the fluffy nail brush to dust away all of the excess dip powder after the application. Some people do recommend to use a stiff manicure brush. One of the first things that I noticed about the dip liquids is the bottom of all of the bottles do screw off. I'm not exactly sure what this is for. I haven't seen this before in any other nail brand. I thought it was kind of weird, so I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dip powder colors. All of these dip powder jars are 0.42 ounces, which is a really good amount for the amount of colors that you get. They are more wide than they are deep, which I don't really like because when you dip your nail, you do have to have rather short nails. You can't like have longer nails when you do dip powder with jars like this, but you can just pour the dip powder over top of the nail. Let's go ahead and swatch out all of these colors on some stiletto nail swatches. All of these dip powders do come sealed to prevent the dip powder from leaking out. I am going to be swatching in small batches to kind of keep everything organized. I do have my cuticle pusher to pour the dip powder over the nail. I'm going to start with the number 1. This is dip base. This does, by the way, smell like every other type of dip base. I do have my 5 nail swatches. Let's go ahead and take dip base, which is number 1, and apply this very evenly to the inside of the nail swatch. Once I have the dip base applied to the entire inside of the nail, I am going to go ahead and take the cuticle pusher and scoop up the dip powder and pour it inside of the swatch. This is while the dip base is still wet, so the dip powder is sticking to the wet base. I'm then going to tap away all of the excess dip powder, and that's the first layer. I'm going to be repeating the same process for the other 4 colors. I am applying the dip base to the inside of the nail swatch because I don't want to have to file and shape the nail after I've applied the dip powder. So by applying the dip powder to the inside of the nail swatch, I'm not going to have to file and shape after the dip powder application. I did actually do 2 layers of each dip powder color. So at the end, when you see these swatches, you will be looking at all of these colors with 2 layers. All of these dip powders are very pigmented, so they're not like see-through dip powders. I'm personally not a huge fan of dip powders that are not very opaque, and these are really nice because you don't really need more than 2 layers to get a really good opacity for these colors. I also have to say I was being very messy when doing these dip powder swatches. I feel like I could have been a little bit more careful not to get dip powder everywhere, but the main thing is I did not ruin the other colors of dip powder, so just try to ignore the mess that I make. I'm actually really happy that this nail kit came with a yellow dip powder. I feel like yellow nail products are a little bit harder to find than other colors, so I am really happy that this kit did include a yellow, and this one is super vibrant. So after doing 2 layers, here is the first 5 colors of dip powder. I personally love this first one here. It's one of my favorite ones of this entire kit. So let's go ahead to the second set. I did kind of try to group the color groups together. So the first group that I did was kind of like the lighter shades of this kit, and the one that I'm doing right now is like the reds and browns. I did this because I did want my swatches to be a little bit organized based off of the color, so that is why I did it this way. It also helps you see all of the different shades of each color that this kit included. I do think that this color red right here is like the most bright red that this kit came with. I do really love all of the brown dip powder colors that were included in this kit. I do kind of feel like brown is like the perfect fall color for nails. I've been seeing a lot of really pretty brown manicures lately and I just love it. I do actually use 2 of these brown dip powders later on for the nail tutorial, so make sure to stay for that part. I also want to say that this video took quite a while to record. I wanted to unbox this kit so bad because I loved all of the swatches online, so I did actually record this right after my Halloween video, and then it just took me a little bit to record the rest of the video, so if my nails change a little bit too much, that is the reason why. Sometimes because of my schedule, it does take quite a few days to record everything for the videos. This first one here is a gold glitter dip powder, which I do end up using this color later on for the nail tutorial. Another reason it took quite a while for me to record and edit this video is because I actually did 2 different nail sets for this kit and the first one came out so boring. It did not look like me at all. Honestly, just didn't want to show off this beautiful big dip powder kit and only do a super boring simple manicure. So I will be inserting a picture of the first manicure that I did, but just know that I did want to show off this dip powder with a little bit better of a manicure. This dip powder right here, I actually really love this color. I did this one for the first manicure that I did. I think this is one of my top favorites of this dip powder kit. So here's that set. Once it's all finished, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is the final 5 dip powder colors for this kit. And here are those 5 dip powder colors. So here are all of the 20 different colors of dip powders that this kit came with. Absolutely love all of these dip powder colors. Let me know which one is your favorite down below. Let's go ahead and move on to the nail tutorial. I have already applied some jelly tips to my nails, which I have cut down the length of, and I have applied a peel base over top of this for easy dip powder removal. If you do want your nails to last, make sure to follow the application guide and the user manual. These are the 3 dip powder colors that I'm going to be using. Of course, to apply this, I am going to be using the number 1, which is the base. For this nail design, I am planning to do a dip powder ombre as well as some color blocking. So I'm going to start by doing the dip powder ombre with these 2 brown colors. I'm going to be taking a lint-free wipe and also a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to be using this to ombre those dip powder colors. As usual, I am going to start the dip powder application by applying dip base, which is number 1, onto the entire nail. I do really like the consistency of this dip base. It's not too runny and it's not too thick. It also doesn't seem to dry too quickly or too slowly, which I do really love the speed of it. I'm then going to take the eyeshadow brush and dip it in the lighter shade of dip powder, and I'm going to be applying this onto the tip of the nail. You don't want to get too much of the dip powder on the brush to allow the dip powder to perfectly ombre. Once I get around the free edge of my natural nail, that is where the ombre is going to happen. So you want to make sure not to place too much dip powder in that area. Once the lighter shade of dip powder has been applied, I'm going to clean the brush and dip it into the darker shade of dip powder and apply this color at the base of the nail. It is okay if this color overlaps because the lighter shade of dip powder has already adhered to the dip base, so it is okay if those colors overlap. I'm then going to tap away all of the excess dip powder, and that's the first layer of the dip powder ombre. I'm going to be repeating the same step for the ring fingernail. When doing ombre dip powder nails, you don't want to have a dip base that dries too quickly, otherwise it can dry and not allow the dip powder to stick to where you place it, so the speed of this dip base is actually really good. I personally don't like dip powder bases that dry super slow, and this one I find doesn't dry super slow, but it does give you enough time to do perfect ombres. For this one right here, I am doing the darker color on the tip of the nail. I just wanted to switch up the color placement for this manicure. One tip that I can give you to help with dip powder ombres is to make sure that you can tap very well with one finger while holding the fluffy nail brush. If you're not able to tap the brush very well, this can make it a little bit difficult to drop the dip powder onto the nail. I'm going to take the fluffy nail brush and dust away the excess dip powder. I'm then going to be doing a second layer of the dip powder ombre on both of the nails. Personally, I would typically say to alternate the dip powder colors, like which one you do first, but I did want the lighter shade of dip powder to stay light. I did not want any of that darker dip powder color in that area, so that is why I'm going in with the same color first, just to make sure that the darker dip powder color does not get on the tip of the nail. I do really like the way that this ombre turned out, so I think that this was a good choice. So if you are using light and darker shades of dip powder, I would recommend to do your lighter shade of dip powder first, just to make sure that the darker color does not get in that area. You can repeat this process one or two more times to get the perfect opacity for the dip powder colors or to get the perfect ombre. Personally, I just did these 2 layers and then I did a layer of clear for encapsulation. I'm then going to take the number 2, which is the activator, and I'm going to apply this very generously to those 2 nails. The purpose of the activator is to harden those layers of dip powder to make sure that these nails are ready to be filed. I'm then going to take a hand file and I'm going to reshape the edges of the nails. Even if your nails were pre-shaped, applying the dip powder can alter your nail shape, so make sure to go ahead and reshape the edges of the nails. I'm then going to take a small buffing block and I'm going to buff over the surface of the nail. Depending how bumpy the nail is, you may need to use a hand file to make sure that the nails are smooth. For the color blocking, I'm going to use the lighter shade of brown and the gold glitter dip powder. Of course, I'm going to be applying this with the number 1, which is the base. As usual, I'm going to apply a thin layer of the base to the entire nail. You do want to make sure not to get this product on your skin, otherwise the dip powder is going to stick there as well. For the color blocking, I'm going to take the lighter shade of brown and I'm going to tilt the jar sideways. I'm then going to be dipping my nail at an angle. Once I have that as thick as I want, I'm going to tap away all of the excess dip powder. I'm then going to quickly do the same step into the gold glitter dip powder. Once I have that as thick as I want, I'm going to tap that away as well. I'm then going to take my cuticle pusher and pour over the dip powder over the rest of the nail. I had to pour the dip powder over simply because the nails are too long to dip into these containers. I'm going to be repeating the same process to the pinky nail, except for the tip, I'm using the lighter shade of brown, and for the base of the nail, I'm using the darker shade of brown dip powder. I do apologize for being out of frame for the gold glitter part, but I just did the exact same step that I've already showed you. So after that layer is dry, I'm going to take the fluffy nail brush and dust away all of the excess dip powder from those 2 color blocking nails. You do want to make sure to do this step very well to avoid contaminating your dip base brush. I'm going to be repeating the same step for a second layer of the color blocking nails. I actually messed up this nail because the base was actually supposed to be the lighter shade of dip powder, and for this second layer of dip powder here, I actually put the darker shade of dip powder on the base of the nail. I was kind of sad about it after I realized it, but I had already done it, so I just went along with it and it turned out just fine. It's because I didn't push the darker shade of dip powder far enough away to realize that I wasn't supposed to use it. But like I said, it turned out okay. I do really like how these nails turned out. It's just this wasn't my initial plan. So yeah. And of course, I'm going to be doing a second layer of the color blocking on the pinky nail as well. For the pinky and middle fingernail, I did end up doing one more layer of the color blocking dip powder, so a total of 3 color blocking layers. I did end up encapsulating that with clear as well. After the nails are dry, I'm going to be applying the number 2, which is the activator, to make sure that those layers of dip powder are fully dry. For the thumbnail, I did do it off camera, but I tried to do another ombre nail. I feel like this one isn't as obvious as the other ones, but this one did turn out okay as well. As I did for the other 2 nails, I'm going to go ahead and file these nails into shape. I am also going to be filing over the surface of these nails as well. Here are the nails after they've all been filed and shaped. I'm now going to be adding some nail art. For the nail art, I'm going to be using these beautiful cheetah nail stickers. I'm just going to be using these cheetah spots, and I'm going to be applying these on the color blocking nails. I did actually have a completely different design in mind, but after I did the dip powder application and I looked at the stickers that I was planning to use, it did not look well at all together, so I ended up deciding to do something different. I do think that the colors that I picked out went very well with these nail stickers, and I'm very happy that I chose to do this nail design. I'm going to be applying the nail stickers onto the pinky as well. I'm then going to apply a no wipe gel top coat onto all of the nails. I am going to be doing more nail art, but I do need a good glossy base on the nails. You can actually use the dip top coat that came in this kit. I do believe it's number 3. Personally, I just don't really like dip liquid top coats, so instead of using that, I am just using a no wipe gel top coat as my top coat. Once I've applied the gel top coat, I'm going to cure for 1 minute. After the gel top coat is cured, I'm then going to take my black gel art liner from Double Dip Nails, and I'm going to be doing a nail design. I'm going to make sure I don't have too much of the polish on the brush, and then I'm going to start on the right side of my index nail, and I'm going to be drawing a curved line going towards the free edge of the nail. Once I have that line, I'm going back to the base of the nail, and I'm going to draw another curved line going in the opposite direction until I get about to the free edge of the nail, and then I'm going to curve that line back towards the other one. Once I have those 2 lines, I am going to thicken up the edges of all of the lines. Before I cure that, I'm going to take my cuticle pusher and I'm going to sprinkle over some clear dip powder into the wet gel, and then I'm going to cure for 1 minute. This is going to give me a sugared nail effect. Once the nail is fully cured, I'm going to take a stiff manicure brush and I'm going to dust away all of the excess dip powder. I'm then going to repeat that exact nail art design on my ring fingernail and thumbnail. After all of the nails are cured, I'm going to be applying some cuticle oil to all of my cuticles. Remember, it is important to rehydrate your skin after every single manicure. And here are the nails. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up, and if you're not already, don't forget to hit subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!